and welcome everybody to History International Film Festival interview of 2024. I'm here with a member of the film HEMA, a story Castellieri. Hello. Would you be so kind to introduce yourself and maybe your role in the film? And after that, tell us a bit about what the film HEMA is about.
Yes, so I'm Andrea Masiero and I'm 14 years old. My role in the film was not a principal role. I was a friend of the protagonist and the film works in two times in history, the present and the past. In particular, the 8th century before Christ, during the time period in which the society of the Castellieri transitioned from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age, and from the inhumation burials to the incineration burials. Maybe it would be interesting to answer the question: what kind of society was this? These people lived in fortified villages along in strategic locations along trade routes in the regions of Trieste, Karst, Slovenia, and Croatia. And they managed also to travel, and they actually traveled up to the Baltic Sea. We don't know a lot about their society because there haven't been a lot of studying on the subject. So one of the objectives of the film was to bring attention to these archaeological sites. The film narrates the story from, as I said, two different perspectives. Uh, to show the connection between present and past, the differences and the similarities. For example, the people in the past had needs as we do, but for one of the differences is that they had completely different relationships with death. The film narrates the story from a perspective that's not very well known in history, the perspective of children. The protagonist is a girl, and I'm her friend, both in the present and in the past. Uh, in the present, we do a school trip to the Castelliere of Helleri. That's an archaeological site near Muggia, a small city near Trieste. And through the objects that we see in the archaeological site and in the museum that is in the city of Muggia, we connect ourselves to the past and show our uh, our interpretation of their style of life, because obviously we don't know a lot about them, so we had to recreate the atmosphere using everything we knew. From the costumes, we inspired ourselves to everything that we saw in the museum, everything that we found. We replicated everything using the tools that were available at the time, guided by experts in workshops. And actually, the experience of replicating the objects was very interesting. And we wanted to make it as accurate as possible. So then we travel through these objects. We travel to the past, and in the past we follow a girl and her family that live in this Castelliero Gallery, and uh, and we see their lifestyle, their connections with with their commercial connections, and also their economy. For example, we follow all the passages that were used to produce wool and artifacts made out of wool. And at the end of the film, the message is to try and learn and uh, let's say uh, try to excavate more these places that aren't very well known. Some people that live in these areas don't even know that these archaeological sites exist. So we wanted to bring attention to these places.
You're probably going to be either a filmmaker, actor, or an archaeologist one day then, huh?
I don't know. I have no idea about my future.
All those scenes shot in the region that the documentary is set in, or had you have to spread out a bit far?
So all we had to travel a lot on the landscape to film the scenes because also the civilization traveled a lot. So, for example, there is the salt trade, and we made a few scenes in very different places about that. Uh, about the production, the most important thing, maybe the thing that uh, most struck me during the production was the accuracy that and the effort that we put into replicating the objects as faithfully as possible, and evitating objects that were man-made, like buildings or power lines, during the film shooting.
Are those actors also reenactors, so living history reenactors, or was the whole project be brought together and none of the people had anything to do?
Some of the experts that helped us acted in the film. Not all, some, only some.
Had some stone buildings in the production. Did you find those, or did you, especially as far as you know, make those?
So in the Trieste cast, the landscape doesn't have or didn't have now. Plants are growing a lot, but in the past there wasn't a lot of plants, and in most places there is still many rocks visible. These structures have largely fallen down, but are still visible their remains. There are some scenes in which the castellieri are made with CGI, but in most scenes the remains are what we used. For example, for comparison, you can see at the end of the film the true state of Castellieri today, and you can distinguish very well them from the ones made with CGI, but they are still visible. For example, if you go with a plane or with a helicopter or with a drone, you can see all the structures from above, and you can also see some structures from the ground level, because their walls were made with rocks. There were sometimes even 5 meter tall and 5 meter wide. So they are there.
Maybe you can tell us how long did the filming last? The thing of a few days, or did it take you years?
It took us 1 year. It took us 1 year of filming and 1 year of working at the computer to put together the scenes and make all the languages, because the film is available also not only in Italian, but also in English and Slovenian and Croatian. So yes, it took another year to do that. And before we had to prepare all the dialogues and clothing and sets. So yes, it took around 2 years altogether.
I think they are speaking different languages.
Yes, actually, the language of the past didn't survive. We don't know how that language sounds, so we invented it. It's actually work of the director, that language that we use in the scenes. And maybe it would be interesting for me to say, for example, in the scenes, I wear a hat. That hat I was made by me. I made it myself from raw wool.
Are your colleagues from your production, do you think, planning to make another similar film, or was this their life's work?
I think they are planning to do a similar film or something like that. I would really like to do something more because it was an opportunity to learn a lot of things, and it was very, very interesting. I had the opportunity to learn so many things that I didn't knew, and see many places that I didn't know even existed. Maybe I don't know if it's interesting or not, but the idea for the film came to the director during a walk. She was walking on a tour to the necropolis of Santa Barbara, the necropolis that was used by the people of the Castellieri, and she read that there were also there tombs of children. So the whole idea came to her when she was walking there.
Did you already have such a interest for history before you?
Yes, yes, yes. I love history, and I love all sciences in general. So I like studying different topics. So yes, I was interested a lot in history even before the film. Actually, my interest for history is the way it's the motivation I ended up in the film, because I and the director met on a guided tour of an archaeological site.
Ah, so you didn't even know the director before?
Yes. I didn't know her before we met at an archaeological site.
Was it a site that's depicted in your film?
No, but it was one of the castellieri.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. Fortunately, our young people speak multiple language. Otherwise, I don't know how I didn't eat. Thank you for this interview, and congratulations for on the organization. In the future, we will certainly visit your territory and the museum. Okay, a good continuation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.